rock your boys. Alright, now we're rolling. I'm finally done being punished by YouTube. But I've heard so many people talk about that, how the no planes thing. I mean, that's where I first heard about the idea. Was on YouTube. But I can't talk about it. That's what the thing is. I am special. I'm Dr. Bass Ackridge. Right? My huge audience. They know. Dr. Bass Ackridge knows. We know who they are, too. I've been running against the grain, running against the grain. I've been running against the grain ever since the day I came along, and I've been running against the grain till my dying day. I'll be running against the grain. I've been running against the grain ever since the day I came along. Yeah, this is the song I always sing while I'm running against the grain. While I'm running against the grain. Yeah, but when you run against the grain, it causes friction, and you know that friction starts to burn. And when it burns, you know what's gonna happen. That's when this place is going up in flames at the end of the game. The end of the game. At the end of the game, I'll still be running against the grain. I'll be running against the grain. I've been running against the grain ever since the day I came along. Well, I claim the grain is running the wrong way. That's my claim to fame. I'm running against the grain. I'll be running against the grain. Running against the grain till my dying day. I've been running against the grain since the day I came. Yeah, that is the song I always sing while I'm running against the grain. Yeah, but when you run against the grain, it causes friction, and you know that friction starts to burn. And when it burns, you know what's gonna happen. That's when this place is going up in flames at the end of the game. The end of the game. At the end of the game, I'll still be running against the grain. I'll be running against the grain. I'll be running against the grain. I'll still be running against when you run against the grain, causes friction. You know that friction starts to burn. And when it burns, you know what's going to happen. That's when this place is going up in flames. At the end of the game. At the end of the game. Up in flames. I'll still be running against the grain. How to end that song. I think it'll just end. That'll be it. Are the ones that we want? I don't want no fluff talk, if you please. I don't need to hear about all those things. I don't need to have you fill the void. I will be equally annoyed. I don't need no fluff talk. Please spare me from the small talk. I'd much rather know how you feel instead of things that aren't even real. I don't want no fluff talk, please. I don't want to hear things that I already know. I'd much rather hear something that you... What the hell? String sounds like shit. I don't want nothing from nobody. All I want is something from somebody. Alright, I don't have words for that song yet, but it's gonna be a good one. You know it will. It's gonna be so good. Hey, I love you. I've been working on this song lately. I didn't go to heaven. Heaven came to me. Didn't come around. I just came to be. I didn't write this song wrote me. It was here all along, waiting for your ears to hear. And now that you are here, everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. It's a picture-perfect paradise. It's a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? It's a picture-perfect paradise. This is a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Don't think twice. Just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. There's no time Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. The middle of everywhere, in the middle of everything. In the middle of everywhere, there's no such thing as the middle of nowhere. You could never be in the middle of nowhere, 'cause there's no such thing as the middle of nowhere. You could never be there. And the needle on the compass is straight. I did that wrong. The needle on the compass is straight, indicating to you if you follow through, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. If you follow through, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. Well, the needle on the compass is straight, indicating to you if you follow through, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. Will you follow through? You will never return. It's a straight line through and through. You will never return. When everything's in its right place, everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. This is a picture-perfect paradise. It's a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? This picture-perfect paradise. It's a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Don't think twice. Just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long, because everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. I didn't go to heaven, heaven came to me. I didn't come around, I just came to be. I didn't write the song wrote me, just to tell you how I am, who I am, how I am. How I am, who I am, who am I? I am how I am, how I am, how I am, who am I? Do you know who you are, how you are, who you are? Do you know how you are, who you are? Who are you? Do you know who you are? Do you know how you are, who you are? Who are you? Do you know? Do you know who you are? Do you know how you are, who you are? Who are you? Do you know how are you? How high are you? I'm high. How are you? Are you high too? Ooh. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. It's a picture-perfect paradise. This is a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? It's a picture-perfect paradise. This is a picture-perfect paradise. isn't it nice? Take my advice, don't think twice, just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. No time to waste. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. No time to waste. Everything's in its right place. Didn't go to heaven, heaven came to me. Didn't come around, I just came to be. I didn't write the song was here all along, waiting for your ears to hear. Now that you are here, everything is in its right place. There's no time to waste. Dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. We're in the middle of everything. There's no such thing as nothing. You can never have nothing. There's no such thing as nothing. We're in the middle of everything. And the needle on the compass is straight, indicating to you if you follow through, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. You will never return if you follow through. It's a straight line through and through. You will never return. Any which way, it's the middle of everything. That is where you are. And I'm singing a song to you. It's a song that is true, and everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. It's a picture perfect paradise. This is a picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? It's a picture perfect paradise. This is a picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Don't think twice. Just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Because everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. Everything is in its right place. Thank you for coming today. Shh, this is a quiet riot. What's the So what string is that? The B string? I think I've broken this one particular string like fucking like so many times. Let me see if I can fix it again. I don't just give up on a string when it breaks, you know? I'm like, fuck you. We're gonna fix you. You're gonna get back in that guitar and you're gonna play some more. I'm not just gonna throw you away. You'll see. I'll make you play again. I'll take off the thing and I'll open it and I'll see that it was a string that was already repaired. I'm like, I don't even know how many times I repaired these fucking strings. But I get them playing again. That's all that really matters to me. Come on, you fucker. There we go. Oh, cool. These pliers are like, they have magnetic tips. That's really handy. Oh no, this is a new string. It's never been repaired. Wow. What do you know? Well, this is still a fresh string. What string is supposed to be a B string? All right. Let's see if we can make this work down here. Let's tie it back on. Come on, man. You're not done yet. You're still a new string. Still got a lot more playing in you. Ow. There we go. Let's see if this works. Of course it'll work. Of course it works. Get in there, string. You're not done yet, buddy. Please reach. Yeah, it looks like it'll reach. I hope it does. I don't know if I have another B string handy. I probably do if I need one. If I really need one. I live up here in the mountains, so it's not exactly convenient to go buy some new strings. So I get as much mileage out of these things as I can. I don't know, this one isn't looking too good, but we're gonna give it the best we got. Let's see what we can get you back on there, buddy. You're all tangled up and all fucked up looking, but you'll see, you'll straighten out, and hopefully you won't break. Let's give this a shot. Hey, Dad. You don't have a B and an E string, do you? No. No? It's all good. Looks like this one might work. Thank you. Alright, come on, baby. Let's get this sucker on there. What the hell's going on here? Oh, that's from the other string. Okay. Just give me another couple minutes and this sucker ought to be good to go. I'm counting on it. I got my fingers crossed. Fingers across, please don't break. It's not the part that I repair that I worry about, it's the part that's all kinked up here that I worry about being where it's gonna break. But it's straightening out. Don't pop out of the thing, please. Come on, you know the drill, get back on here. We're gonna do some more playing, Mr. String. You're not done yet. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ah!
Hey, Boris.
Yo.
Look in here. Good luck.
Looks like there might be some in here. Smaller ones. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think that's a B string. So lo and behold, it wasn't the part that I thought was going to break that broke. I jinxed myself. And I can unjinx myself and try again. Get back off this thing and get back in that thing. This is frustrating, dude. Like, hurry up. Hi. Okay, that reach. Oh, shit. Come on. So ghetto. Alright, that'll reach. Alright, where's the thing? I need the thing. I'm surprised it came off because I had it twisted on there pretty good. Oh, brother. Went through the crack. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna twist this sucker on there good. Anybody in here? Where do I live? I'm in California, in the Santa Cruz Mountains. How about you? What's up, Iron Realm? Vlad? How you doing, buddy? I just busted a string. I'm trying to fix this guitar string here real quick. Because I don't have an extra B string, so I have to repair it. And pretty confident this will work. Do you play guitar, Vlad? Or you're on the road? Where are you going? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, come on. Oh. Let's see how that will come off there. I think that'll work. Let's give it a shot, shall we? Let's give it a shot. Shit show going. Alright. Trying one more time. String is getting shorter and shorter though. Please reach. Oh yes, it'll reach. Cool, we're in luck. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't break off again. Cool. You're from up north? You're in California? Northern California is where it's at, man. I'm like, central, like the Bay Area, kind of. Right above Silicon Valley. It's better to be above Silicon Valley, and you got the upper hand. Mental Raccoon, you're from up north, northern New York. Oh yeah, I thought you were East Coast. New York. All right. You know those, if you're still in here, mental, do you know those things? My friends used to call them milli forays, I think, something like that. I don't know, they're like these little they're rods they would make, but they would spiral different colors together in such a way to where, like, when you had the rod, you'd tap it on the whatever glass piece you're making, and it would leave a stamp just from the end of the rod, But all the stuff was swirled together to make a certain image. You could put like a mushroom, or I've seen people do some really complicated ones. I don't know how they make them. Yeah, millipore. Yeah, I imagine you know all about that shit, but I like what you do. I mean, your stuff is pretty fucking sweet. That marble yesterday was dope. All the little blue specks inside of it. Shit was rad, dude. I wish I could do that. I've tried to blow glass. I just used to blow pipes. It's really basic. Nothing like fancy at all. Oh shit, I put the string on over my guitar strap. Guitar did much? Yes, I'm mental. I imagine you out there like in your dumpster where you throw all your glass scraps. You're out there one night throwing away your glass scraps, in the dumpster. And there's these little trash pandas rifling around looking for food and all your broken pieces of glass. And you're like, are you fucking raccoons? You guys are mental. There's mental raccoons in this glass bin. I have to try to think of how people came up with their names, you know, on their channels. Somebody else had one that I was trying to figure out the other day. It was a good one. It's on the tip of my tongue. What was it? What was it? I like that channel, The Machine Lies. You ever listen to his stuff? I think it's just called Machine Lies or The Machine Lies. Shout out to that guy. He's cool. Eat grapefruit. It's good for you. That's a good one. It's actually pretty sweet. Yeah. Yeah, citrus kind of like a good piece of fruit. Like citrus is like candy, like those little mandarins. It's so fucking good. Like if you get a good batch of them, they're like candy. They're better than candy. Please do. Please make it. Please do it. I knew we could get that string back on. Look at that. Will you listen to that? If my word did glow with the golden sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice? This thing's stretched out. I don't sneak around, but I wear sneakers. I don't vote, 'cause I don't need a leader. And you shouldn't need a leader either. No, you shouldn't need a leader. I'll leave time for you on your parking meter. I don't vote, 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh, oh, alright, okay. I don't vote, 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh, I don't vote, 'cause I don't need a leader. And you shouldn't need a leader either. I don't beat wives, but I wear wife beaters. Still stretching out here. Yeah. There's no stupid questions. There's only stupid teachers. I don't vote, 'cause I don't need a leader. Ooh, oh, alright. I don't vote, 'cause I don't need a leader. Oh. That's fun. Ooh, and you shouldn't either. Yeah, I'm straight twangy, bro. Twangy. You better act fast, jackass. Last chance to hammer in the brass tacks. Hammer in the brass tacks. The type of lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging asphalt, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down, that's right. Act fast, jackass, let's choose a hammer in the brass tacks. No time for lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging ass, or acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down, that's right. Let's use the hammer in the brass tacks. No time for lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging ass, or acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down, that's right. And we will see who's laughing when the place starts collapsing in a free for all. Anything can happen when the ship goes down. So does the captain. And wherever you are is where you'll be stuck. Yeah, when this place goes belly up, you better have yourself a damn good plan. Wherever you are is where you'll be stuck. When this place goes belly up, you better have yourself a damn good plan when the shit hits the fan. Now when the going gets tough, you better be clever enough. You gotta know what the fuck to do. You gotta run amok, or let the muck run you. You better act fast, check this. Let's just the hammer in the brass tacks. Time for lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging ass, or acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact once you grab your bug out back, there isn't going to be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's going to come down, that's right. Yes, the whole thing is gonna come down, okay. I said the whole damn thing is gonna come down, right. The whole damn thing come down, that's right. The whole damn thing gonna come down. See who's laughing when the place starts collapsing in a free fall. Anything can happen when the ship goes down. So does the captain. Wherever you are is where you'll be stuck. When this place goes belly up, you better have yourself a damn good plan. I love you, baby. Taking a shower. You're sexy, baby. You better have yourself a damn good plan when the shit hits the fan. Now when the going gets tough, you better be clever enough. You gotta know what the fuck to do. You gotta run amok, or let the muck run you. Better act fast, jackass. Let's just a hammer in the brass tacks. No time for lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging ass, or acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bug out back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down, that's right. Act fast, jackass, let's just a hammer in the brass tacks. No time for lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging ass, or acting like a maniac. Just consider the fact. Once you grab your bucket back, there's really gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down. That's right. I bet I could play it even faster. Act fast, jack, ass, catch a hammer in the brass tacks. Attack the lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging, ass, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact that once you grab your bucket back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down. That's right. Act fast, jack, ass, catch a hammer in the brass tacks. Attack the lagging, nagging, bragging, dragging, ass, acting like a maniac. Do you wonder why exactly I'm explaining that? Just consider the fact. Once you grab your bucket back, there isn't gonna be a way to turn back around. Cause this whole thing's gonna come down. Whole thing's gonna come down, okay? Well, the whole damn thing down. Out here on the edge, looking at the valley below, where the ocean once flowed. Out here on the edge, I can see the other side, but the valley is so wide. Out here on the edge, we dangle our legs off of the ledge. Out here on the edge, you better leave before the sun disappears, or you'll never find your way out of here. Out here on the edge, no one in the world has a clue what happened to you. Out here on the edge, you're alone with your thoughts. That's when you get lost. Out here on the edge, I've seen and heard a lot of things. I've seen people beg, I've heard people scream. Out here on the edge, you could end it all with one Doppler effect. Whatever, dude. Just like whatever, bro. You don't have to like my songs, but I lived it. I wrote that last song about when I was a kid. I did the John Muir Trail. I was like 21 years old. I wasn't really a kid, but I was a wee lad, and I did the John Muir Trail. We started in Yosemite and hiked down to Mount Whitney. I mean, there were 7 of us that started, but not all of us made it. 5 of us made it. There was 2 people that bailed out halfway. But there was one point in the trail, it was really desolate out there. It was just the five of us at that point, and we hadn't seen anybody in days. It was like we were out in the back country. You know, you have to get permits to go out there, and there's not a lot of people to go out there. When it turns out, this is what's trippy though. Is like it had been a few days since we'd seen anybody, and we were like up in the high country. It's like high elevation where there wasn't even hardly any trees or shrubbery. It was just mostly rocks and lakes and snow. It was in the middle of the summer, but there was patches of snow. But so we couldn't even hang our food at night, you know, because you usually want to hang your food when you're out in the Sierra so the bears don't get it, you know. But we had to sleep with our food. We had to be brave because there was nowhere else you could put it. You know, you're just like, well, at least I'll have a fighting chance to keep my food. Not that I want to get killed by a bear, but you know, if I get my food stolen, I'm gonna die. No, it turns out that we ran out of food. So we didn't really have much food to sleep with anyways at that point. But we had a fishing pool and we were eating trout out of the lakes. But that was only for like 3 days. We'd run out of food and there was like five of us. We had nothing to eat. But there was so many trout in these lakes. I mean, they were just packed. They're like kind of like landlocked or whatever you want to like because it was the middle of the summer, so all the water was, you know, the lakes were evaporating. They were getting smaller. It was all snow melt or whatever. But you could tell that it had been like the lakes had been bigger, you know, earlier in the year, and that's when all the fish were spawning or whatever in there, you know, and then the water, the size of the lake shrank, but the fish grew, you know. So it was like you just go in there. You could grab them with your hand if you wanted to, probably. I mean, I never did, but they were just everywhere. It was crazy, and so we were yanking those things out like crazy, eating them, eating them. We weren't eating them raw. We were cooking them, and there was wild onions growing out there too, everywhere. So we were having fish and onions for the first day or maybe first couple of days. We had several meals where it was fish and chips because we had some dehydrated mashed potatoes left over between all of us. So we had a couple of meals where we made like really starchy dehydrated potatoes, and so we could like fry them kind of in the fish grease and turn them into like fries. So we had like legit fish and chips out there. And like when we had nothing to work with, we were like, okay, we're gonna find some fish and some wild onions, and we're gonna make these French fries out of our dehydrated mashed potatoes. And we had legit fish and chips. It was so good, especially when you're starving. Really hit the spot. So during that period when we were like really low on food, you know, like we were coming over this pass one day, and like I said, we hadn't seen anybody in days, and there was this huge peak out in the distance. Like there's peaks everywhere, and you go over all these passes every day, you know. But this one day, like we were going over this pass, and there's this peak that just stood out. It was just like so big, and it looked like it was kind of easy to get up there because it looked kind of like just like small rocks or like sand leading up to the top. We're like, dude, we could easily climb that. That'd be basic. It doesn't look too dangerous or anything, and that's so we got all excited about climbing that peak. It was off the trail, but it wasn't that far off the trail. And so we went down and we got to the bottom of that mountain, you know, and like there's a little lake there, so we pitched our tents and like caught some fish and ate dinner. And then the next morning we left all our stuff there at the lake and just proceeded to climb up that mountain. And like it's crazy because the stuff that looked like sand or like small rocks from up on the pass turned out they were huge fucking boulders. So it wasn't like it was easy. Well, I mean, it was easy actually because we just had to rock hop all the way up. It was pretty safe. There wasn't any loose ones, you know. It was all pretty safe. And so we just climbed these big boulders all the way to the top of this peak. And we get up there, and we're way the fuck up there, and the view was fucking incredible. We get up there, and like just before you're getting up to the top, it's like, holy shit, this is wild. And there's this book that was up there. It turns out it's the fifth low. It's like a metal encased book that you sign in when you go. You know, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's this book that's like chained to the rock, and it's in a metal encased book, and you sign your name in there. And it's got pencils, and you know, there's hella people that are written in there. And it turns out it's the fifth highest peak in the lower continental United States. Like basically not including Alaska. It's the fifth highest peak, and it was 14,050 feet up in the air. 14,050, that's what it was. And yeah, we were like, holy shit, we chose the right mountain to climb. This is like it's on the map, you know. It's called Split Mountain. It's out in the, I think that would be maybe Sequoia. I'm not sure which national park that was in. It wasn't that far from Onion Valley. Well, still a few days away actually. But anyways, split mountain, and like I said, we hadn't seen anybody in days. But when we get to the top of this mountain, there was like 5 people up there, and maybe even more than that. There was several people up there, but none of them spoke English, and they were all kind of wigged out. They saw us come up. I guess they probably hadn't seen anybody in days either, but they didn't. We didn't. There was a language barrier, and we were all friendly, like Santa Cruz Mountain Boys. What's up? And all fucking totally friendly and like, wow, there's people. We wanted to talk and stuff, but they were all, yeah, they're speaking some other languages like Dutch or something, and they're all like kind of weird, and they basically, like whatever, without having to say anything, they made it seem like, okay, we don't want to talk to you guys, like just get away from us. And so we're like, all right, it was big enough on top of that mountain where we could have our own little parties, and it's like, whatever, guys, peace out. And so they were weird, and it was kind of like, it was kind of a bummer because we're just like, dude, we're stoked to see some people. We wanted to talk to them, but they didn't know how to speak English, and we couldn't speak their language, and they were weird. So we signed into the book, and from up there, you can see so much. Like, you can see the Owens Valley. Like, if you're in the Sierra Nevada, there's a big, in the California part of Sierra Nevada, there's a big valley between this part of the Sierra Nevada and then the Nevada side, and it's called Owens Valley. And it's like, it comes all the way up through California. It's like, and it's that fertile, like, out there in that area, it's like pretty deserty. There's a town called Independence out there. I was like the only town in that area, but you could see for fucking hundreds of miles, and it's flat, and it went all the way out, and then you could see the Sierra Nevada jut back up out of the out of the valley, way the fuck down there, and it's just wild. And from what I remember hearing is that used to be Owens Lake. Well, there is Owens Lake out there, but it's pretty much dried up. But I wanted to find out if it was like salt water, because I think it's my opinion that's where the ocean used to be, right there in that valley. Because I mean, at the time when I was looking at it, I didn't think that. But now that I've seen old maps of California that show California as an island, I'm like, well, that would have been where the water came in right there. So that day after we left the top of the mountain, we hiked back down, packed up our stuff, and got back on the trail. And it was already getting towards the end of the day at that point. And we walked by this ranger, and he was like this shorter, kind of skinny, hippie-looking dude, long hair and a beard. And he was the only guy on the whole time we went on. We were out there for a month, and we saw several rangers over the course of the time. But he was the only one that actually checked our permits. And he was cool and everything, but he actually checked our permits. We all had to get our permits out of our backpacks and show him. And for whatever it's worth, it was just kind of interesting. But he was nice, and we just said, we showed him that we were legit, and he was all cool. And he took off. He went that way, and we went this way. And we went down and set up a little camp by this little river, and made a fire and caught some fish or whatever, did our routine. And we always had to camp by water because that's where the fish were. And so this fucking ranger, that we saw earlier, comes walking through the camp area on the trail. We see him. We're up at our camp spot having a fire. We're like, what are you doing, man? What's up? We thought he was camping around there because he had a day pack on when he passed us earlier. He figured he had a camp in that area. We're like, are you camping somewhere in this, in this stretch right here? And he's all, no, I'm a couple miles up. We're like, really? That sucks, because it was like dark already. You don't want to be hiking in the Sierra Nevada at night. That's a big no-no. I don't care how good your flashlight is, dude. There's so much dangerous shit out there, not to mention the bears and shit, I mean, it's like, you don't want to be fucking around at night in the Sierra Nevada. You want to go to bed or just lay there and look at the stars or something. You don't want to be walking around. Not a good idea. And that's like that's good, practice. I mean, it's like kind of the unspoken thing. Like, you don't go hiking at night in the Sierra Nevada. It's not a good idea. Dangerous. You fall off a cliff or something. And so we're like, dude, that sucks. You still got a couple miles to go, man. It's dark. Like, you can kick it here, for the night if you want. You can see, do you have something warm you could wear or whatever? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm good, man. I got a flashlight or whatever. I'll make it there, no problem. Like, you sure? We're like trying to invite him to hang out. Just, you shouldn't be hiking at night. It's kind of one of those things you don't want to do, And he's a ranger, so he should know that. But whatever. He was just running behind on schedule or something. We're like, all right, peace out, And so the reason that's all significant is later when we got home from our hike, it was a couple weeks later we get home, and each one of us had been contacted by the forest department or whatever, the detective agency for the forest department, and so we each got contacted, and before any of us had a chance to talk to each other either, about what was happening, but we all got contacted and interviewed by these detectives that were looking for that specific ranger that was out there. And the reason they contacted us is because we were the only people that had permits to be in that area at that time. So they're like, we were like their last hope. They're like, we haven't been able to find this guy, and they gave the description, and it was him, and there was like, no doubt, and I answered the questions like, yeah, we saw him. He was the only guy that checked our permits. It's interesting. And they're like, you guys were the only ones that had permits. Did you see anybody else out there? And we're like, well, yeah, funny you ask, because there was a bunch of foreigners out there that weren't very nice, you know. But that's about all can say about them. I don't know which way they were going, but it turns out they probably didn't have permits, I guess, right? So unpermitted, rude foreigners and whatever that spoke a different language. And but then, they were asking. But then I told him the story. I was like, yeah, we saw him hiking at night. He walked by our camp, and we offered him to stay at our place because he still had a couple. He said he had a couple more miles to hike, and it was dark already. And I just told him everything that I just told you, basically. And so, if anybody's listening, but so it turns out, I mean, then no one could ever. He never turned back up. Like he just went missing, MIA, and yeah, so it was just we had no closure on that. And my friend Doug, who was with me, he's no longer with us. God bless his soul. But he used to go out there with his family every year to go to Yosemite, and he would always inquire about the missing ranger, and because we never had any closure on it, and he never got any closure. Like they were always like, no, he never turned back up. Like, damn, I mean, they must have had people out there looking for him. I'd imagine, and it's weird that he could disappear out there in that area. I would figure, they would have found him by now. I mean, this is like 30 years ago now, but like so, some time passes, and I'm out in Big Sur with some friends or my kid, and at the hot springs, it's like a 12-mile hike out from the ocean. You hike into the mountains, and there's this hot spring right next to the river. It's like 105 degrees. It's so awesome. It's a natural hot spring. And there's not that many people out there because you have to hike way out there in the woods to get to it. And so I'm out there with my friends and family or whatever, and hanging out in the hot tub one night. And this dude shows up, and like I said, there's not that many people out there, so it's like, hey, what's up, and he's cool, and he gets in the hot tub with us, and we start shooting the shit, and he was talking about backpacking, because, it's kind of a backpacking trip to get out there, so we were just talking about backpacking and places we've been, and we started talking about hot springs we've been to, and I was talking about the Fish Creek hot springs that are out on the John Muir Trail that we went to. It was just like paradise. It's fucking incredible. From that same trip, I was referring back to. He's, oh, you've done the John Muir? I'm like, yeah. And he's, oh, I've done that trail so many times. I'm like, oh, right on. We started talking, and he starts telling me about some ranger that he knew that died out there or whatever, and he starts telling the story. And I'm like, wait a minute, was that back in like 1994 or 5 or whatever? And around, I forget what year it was, but he's all that he went missing, and he's like, yeah, he was out like an Onion Valley area, kind of. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, that's crazy, because that's the guy that we were the only people that had permits to be out there. And I told him the whole story about how we were the last people to see him, if it's him. And he's like, that was you guys? Because I guess, I mean, his obituary, it was probably that it mentions us, that they interviewed us, and it was like his friend or something, or somebody that he knew. He was telling the story like it was something that he was acquainted with, or whatever. And like, it turns out that they had found the guy at this point, and the guy gave me closure on the whole thing. They found his remains at the bottom of this cliff, like he fell off a cliff, probably that same night, I don't know, or just hiking at night is not, that's what happens. I mean, it's just like this, the lesson is you don't hike around at night. But yeah, it's kind of sad though. As a tribute, all that was you guys? What do you mean? He's, oh yeah, because he knew the whole story about how he went missing, and they had contacted the people that were out there that had seen him last, and so I guess our testimony made it into the obituary or something, and he's like, that was you guys? I'm like, yeah, we're famous. It's fucking weird. It's a small world. I should go look up the guy's name, so when I'm telling the story, I can have the guy's name pay homage to him. Know what I'm saying? Should I play the song again? I'll play the song again. That's what that song's about, by the way. Out here on the edge, looking at the valley below, where the ocean once flowed. Out here on the edge, I can see the other side, but the valley is so wide. Out here on the edge, we dangle our legs off of the ledge. Out here on the edge, you better leave before the sun disappears, or you'll never find your way out of here. Out here on the edge, no one in the world has a clue what happened to you. Out here on the edge, you're alone with your thoughts. That's when you get lost. Out here on the edge, I've seen and heard a lot of things. I've seen people beg, I've heard people scream. Out here on the edge, you could end it all with one fall. We can share the women, we can share the wine. We can share what we get of yours, 'cause we done shared all of mine. I don't know, I can play that. It's a Grateful Dead song. We can share the women, we can share the wine. Oh, that's very poetic. How do the women feel about that? Like a commodity. We can share them. We can share the women, we can share the wine. We can share what we got of yours, 'cause we done shared all of mine. Keep on rolling, just a mile to go. Keep on rolling, my old buddy, you're moving much too slow. Something like that. Moving much too slow. I just jumped the watchman right outside the fence. I took his rings for bucks and chains. Ain't that heaven sent? Hurts my ears to listen, and it burns my eyes to see. Cut down a man in cold blood, might as well be me. Yeah, how does that go? Might as well be me. I forget how that goes. This thing sounds awful. That's it. Might as well be me. This sounds so bad. We used to play for silver, but now we play for life. Once for blood and no, once for sport, and once for blood at the point of a knife. Now the die is shaking, now the die must fall. There ain't no winner in the game. You don't go home with all. Not with all. I don't know how that part goes. You don't go home with all. Not with all. I can't play that song. It's a good song, though. Jack Straw from Wichita cut his buddy down. Dug for him a shallow grave and laid his body down. Half a mile from Tucson by the morning light. There's one man gone and another to go. My old buddy, you're moving much too slow. Sounds so terrible. Catch you Detroit, no, leaving Texas, 4th day of July. The sun's so hot, the clouds so low, the eagles fill the sky. Catch a Detroit, riding out of Santa Fe. The great northern out of Cheyenne, from sea to shining sea. Oh yeah. Gotta go to Tulsa, first train we can ride. Gotta settle one old score now, one small point of pride. There ain't a place a man can hide that keeps him from the sun. There ain't no bed can give us rest now. You keep us on the run. You keep us on the run. Something like that. That's it. I can play this song. Yeah. Jack Straw from Wichita cut his buddy down. It goes like that. That's how it goes. But there's a cool guitar solo that Jerry does. I don't know. I can't quite solo over that bit yet. I gotta practice that one. And Jerry goes, Jack Straw from Wichita. It gets all built up. See, the Grateful Dead, they had their whole thing designed where they could just like, they'd build up these parts where it's like, you could feel it surging. Everybody's all working together and it goes bang and it peaks. It hits right at the apex and you just feel that power. Good shit. Can I play It Was a Good Day? Oh, I should be able to. That'd be a good one to play, huh? Today was a good day. I should learn that one. I can play Buenos tardes, amigo. Hola, my good friend. Cinco de Mayo's on Tuesday, and I hope we'd see each other again. You killed my brother last winter. You shot him 3 times in the back. How does it go? Oh yeah. At night I can still hear Mama weeping. Oh, Mama still dresses in black. The people of the village surrounded. They could not believe what they saw. And I told them it was you who killed him, and that I'd find you and put you to the law. You look. How does it go? Oh yeah, I searched at every fiesta for you. I wanted to greet. Maybe I'd sell you a chicken with poison interlaced with the meat. You look like my brother. Mama always loved on this such a joyous day. I tell you, it was me who killed him. But the truth I will never have to say. Buenos tardes, amigo. Hola, my good friend. Cinco de Mayo's on Tuesday, and I hoped we'd see each other again. Yes, I hoped we'd see each other again. Yes, I hoped we'd see each other again. That's when he shoots him at the very end of the song. He kills him. He kills him. Yeah, I knew that would clear the room. Yeah, screw you guys. You guys don't know a good song when you hear one. Sorry. It's your fault, not mine. Way to clear the room, Dr. Bass. Whatever. I guess we don't have any Ween fans here then. Huh? Nobody likes Ween. I love Ween. I think Ween is the best. Ween is just, they're so underrated. Ween, W-E-E-N, Ween. They sing songs like, Mister, would you please help my pony? He's over there behind the tree. He coughs up snot in the driveway. I think it's his lung. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's chewing bark and not the leaves. He coughs up snot in the driveway. I think his lungs fucked up. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's over there looking at me. He can't talk because he's a pony. I think it's his lung. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's over there looking at me. He's over there behind the tree. He coughs up snot in the driveway. I think his lungs fucked up. That's right. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's over there looking at me. He can't talk because he's a pony. I think it's his lung. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's chewing bark and not the leaves. He coughs up snot in the driveway. I think his lungs fucked up. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's over there looking at me. He's crying like a baby, won't you help him? I think his lungs fucked up. Mister, would you please help my pony? You have any ghost stories? Oh, it's ghost stories. No, no ghost stories. Although when I was a kid, we used to think this house on the corner down here was haunted. This is the neighborhood I grew up in. And it did seem kind of haunted. but I never really saw anything supernatural. Like we talked to the Ouija board about it, and there was all kinds of weird shit that happened with that. But I never trusted that shit. I think it might work, but I never got involved. My friends were doing that. I didn't participate. My dad always told me. My dad told me I do have some ghost stories, but they aren't personal ones. But my dad, who I trust, he would never bullshit me. He told me never to use the Ouija board when I was a kid and he told me the reason why, which is because his family, my dad's side of the family, is kind of the crazier side of the family, and I don't really never get to know them as well as my mom's side. But they lived up in Oregon. They lived in Alaska. They were loggers. They were crazy people, and some family member had passed away, and they were using the Ouija board to try to communicate with them, and they got really into it. They thought it was working, and they were convinced it was working. But like, my dad was kind of creeped out by it. He was just a kid at the time, and he had a bunch of family all living in it. Like his sisters were older than him. They had gotten married, and they had kids, and they all lived in the same place. They were all loggers, but he said that some weird shit started happening, like around the house, like when everybody was gone at work during the day and he was home, like he would hear like faucets turning on and off and doors slamming. He thought people were home, and he would go upstairs and nobody was there. And it would happen to him all day. And he's like, "What the fuck?" He knew he was hearing it, but he couldn't ever catch anybody in the act. Nobody was ever there. He could never figure out why he was hearing it, because he was hearing it, but he would go and there would be the faucet wouldn't be on, and nobody was there making the doors close. And he said that went on for a while, and there was a couple times where like he actually saw something just move, like the door, like something move, but there was nobody there to move it, and it was just getting, lights flicking on and off, and just weird shit was happening. And but it was never, but it didn't get crazy until one night. He said he didn't see this himself, so it was like a third-hand ghost story. But I think it would be no, it's my uncle-in-law or whatever, like his sister's husband, I think is who it was, get yanked out of his bed. Like he was in his bed sleeping. It's like straight out of like Exorcist or some shit. The dude got yanked out of his bed like by his feet. He's sleeping on top of his bed, and he wakes up as he's getting yanked out of his bed, and he pulled into the closet, like his back hit the wall in the closet, and he came slouching down. And scared the living shit out of everybody, because everybody could hear the loud noise and came up to see what was wrong. And he was all like upside down on the other side of the room. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I just got pulled out of my bed." Like, what the fuck? There was nobody was there that would have done it, obviously. And he said he woke up as he was getting pulled out of his bed, getting yanked, and got thrown against the wall, but he didn't see anybody didn't feel anybody grabbing him. It was just like he was just being pulled like by some force. But then they stopped, so that's when they decided to stop using the Ouija board when that happened. And and so that story stuck in my head. I was told that story when I was a kid, and my dad's told me about it since then. But it always stuck in my head as being like really spooky. And so when my friends were using the Ouija board as a kid, I would never participate. But they were using the Ouija board, and they discovered that through the Ouija board that this place was haunted. That there was, because the dude, that's the thing, the place was vacant, and there was a guy that had lived there prior to that. It was our friend's dad who had shot himself apparently, and so there was like this, the last people that had lived in this vacant house that was on the corner here. There was somebody that had shot himself to death in that house, that killed himself, and so we, of course, we naturally were, little kids, and we just went, because they moved after that happened, and so it was just like, we thought maybe his ghost was in there, and so that's who they were trying to talk to with the Ouija board, and they claimed to have gotten in touch with him. But all this stuff that happened over there, because we'd go poke around in there trying to find, find stuff to scare ourselves with or whatever. And a couple times we thought like, it was my friend, I never really had any direct experiences with ghosts, but he thought something touched him while he was in there, and I don't know, it's just some cheesy shit. But I used to have to walk by that house every night on my way home, and by myself, and like, it was before I had my dog. And I just remember being kind of spooked out. I'd walk by all hella fast, all alone at night, and it's this haunted house. But what was cool is that there was, right before I'd pass that house, and my house was when I used to live across the street here, and there was this white owl that I would see every night on top of a telephone pole. And he would always be looking at me when I'd walk. So I'd walk past the scary house, and the first thing I would see as I rounded the corner was this white owl on top of the telephone pole. And he was always there every night when I'd walk home. I tried to talk to him. He never talked to me, but a couple times I saw him fly away. I know it was a real owl. He was there. It wasn't until many years later that I heard that the white owls are thought of as being like spiritual, like somebody's spirit will come back in the form of a white owl. I don't know what that whole myth is, but I don't know if that's what was happening. It was just interesting how the white owl was always sitting there staring at me right when I'd walk past the haunted house, though. Or the haunted house, the house that they said they talked to somebody that was in there through the Ouija board that was a ghost. But I don't trust that shit. I don't think it's real. I mean, I think it's real, but I don't think that you're necessarily communicating with who you think you're communicating with. I think there's some other shit going on there. Maybe you are. I don't know. I can't say either way. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, cool, man. That's good, Jeremy Bird. Stoked to hear that. I think I'm subbed to you. Let's see if I can sub to you right now, just if I'm not already. I can't go. I think I'm subbed. Sure, baby. Thank you. What are you going to be doing shows about? Oh, I didn't mean to delete a message. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I put that back? Sorry, Jeremy. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I'm talking to somebody on my show. I didn't mean to do that, bro. Let me see. What the hell's going on? Can I... Dude, there's only things that I can do that are punishing. I want to make the message come back. Anyways, I'm sorry, Jeremy. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to sub to your channel. I think I'm already subbed to your channel, though. And I guess I deleted your message. I hope I didn't put you in timeout or something. No, I don't think I did. I'm sorry, though, if I did. That was totally a mistake. You're one of my mods, so you know that you know that you're in good standing here. Sorry about that. So what are you going to start doing your show about? Like stuff like flat earth type shit or other shit? Cool. I used to talk about flat earth a lot. Like I just feel like I never got much feedback from people, because I have like my own sort of the reason that I'm a flat earther, and I feel like I'm kind of unique. And I mean, probably a lot of people say that, but I just the way I came to like accept that idea as being true, and like I'll never be able to walk away from it now. Like how Jaron went back to the globe because of what he saw and how the model matches what he saw, and he just thinks, well, if the model matches what I see, then it must be true. And I see his train of thought, and I think he makes a good argument for that, And I think a good argument should be able to be made. I mean, you should be able to steal man the globe. I mean, because there's a reason why it's accepted as being true, but there's also a reason why people are faking space, and why, yeah. Anyways, the reason why I'll never be able to leave flat Earth is because I happen to know, because I don't feel like departing from reality. That's basically the bottom line. And it's just because what I know is that I know that if we were to set out making concentric circles on the surface of the Earth, like draw a circle on the ground, you probably heard me rant about this, but, and then, concentric circles are circles around circles, If you're just going to go mark circles on the Earth and start making concentric circles, you'll see that the circles get bigger and bigger, right? It's a no-brainer. And so if you were to just set out doing that, your circles would get huge, right? And they would just keep getting bigger every time because you're going to go around the outside of the last one you made. It's going to get bigger. You keep making concentric circles like that. I mean, the formula never changes. You just finish your circle and you start making a new one around the outside of the previous one. I mean, like if at the point where you have to go over the ocean or whatever, because we're talking about Earth, you're going to start covering a vast area pretty soon, and your circle's going to be encompassing a lot of Earth. But if there's some way to mark it over the water too, like if you had like a drone that would like leave a neon trail behind it, that stayed in the air like a fucking hologram or something, so it could be marked, so you could see your circles marked, above just above the Earth, so you could see what you're doing, because after a while your circles are going to be so big that you're going to feel like you're traveling in a straight line, because they're so big, but you're following the outside of the circle that you just did before. That also seemed like a straight line, but you always get back to where you started. And when you first started, you knew there were circles because you were just making these small circles at first. But they kept getting bigger, and after a while, it just seems like you're walking in a straight line, but you always get back to where you started, and you're like, okay, I finished my circle. And then you just move a little bit away from your circle that you finished and then start a new one. You just follow the circle is always on your left side, the one that you just finished, and you're just going around it, let's say like that, and so you come all the way back to where you started, and you're like, okay, I just finished another circle. Every time you make a circle, you can see how much extra space you're encompassing because you just walk a little bit away from the other circle that you just finished and start a new one. So there's all that space right there between the circles that you just walked away from it and started a new one. So there's like, even if it's just like 5 feet, but it's going for miles now, and so it comes all the way back around. There's all that extra space that you just encompassed, and your circle obviously is going to be bigger. And that's what's been happening the whole time. You can see why that is, because you're you're making a longer journey around the outside of what you just did. You're traveling around the outside of the circle that you just made. And you're you're going a little bit and then starting again. So there's like space between each circle. So you can tell that you're adding more area every time you make a circle. That's what's happening. It's intuitive. And so, you come back to where you started, like, okay, I just added that much more area in a big circle, however many miles around it is. But every time, that the circle you made every time is going to be bigger than the one that you made before because you're encompassing more area. It's intuitive. I feel silly having to explain this, but this is it though. It's like you would just continue like that forever, right? Or until you ran out of space. That formula would never change. Like you're finishing your circle. Now you're starting a new one, and all that area that's between the circles, you're encompassing more area, so it's always going to be a bigger perimeter. Oh, thanks, baby. And so that would just continue like that indefinitely, or until you run out of space to move into. But like your circles would just keep getting bigger. I mean, that's what we intuitively know would happen, right? And that's what made me become a flat earther, is just realizing that, because I realized that the expansive earth can only widen, and because you're never going to see those circles start to get smaller. They can't. That would never happen, not in real life. Your circles could only get bigger. But on the globe model, they would have to start getting smaller after you pass the median of Earth, the halfway point. If you're making concentric circles on the face of the Earth, the biggest circle you can draw on the globe Earth is circling a little bit less than half the Earth. So the biggest circle you can draw on the face of the Earth right now, if it was a globe, is encompassing a little bit less than half of the available space. Does that make sense? You can draw a big circle. You can draw a circle around your house. You can draw a circle around the state you live in, or draw a circle around the country you live in. But you can't draw a circle around the whole entire world. No, the biggest circle you can draw on the globe Earth is only circling half the world. So it's like, what if you wanted to circle more than that? Well, you can't. What do you mean? So if you want to add more, because there's still the other half of the world. Like, you want to encompass more than half the world. That's not possible? That's hard to swallow. I can't really accept that. I don't think we live on a globe. Here's my coffee. Yeah, I don't think we live on a globe. Because that's silly. That's where I would have to depart from reality. Where, like, I just encompass a bigger area, and I know that I'm traveling around the outside of the circle that I had made prior, like I've been doing the whole time. I just added a bunch more area, but now my circle is smaller somehow. How is it smaller? How is that going to happen? What happened to the measurement before that was bigger? How am I going to get a smaller measurement around the outside after I add more area? No, man, that's not going to happen. That doesn't make any sense. The only reason you would think that would happen is if you just absolutely positive you live on a globe. But even then, it would still seem counterintuitive because because the way they have it set up is like you never feel like you're walking around the side of a ball or upside down or anything. So there's weird things like that that would have to happen where it's like somehow now your perimeter is going to have to start shrinking after you pass the median, even though you're never going to feel like you're at the median or on the side of the ball or anything. So it's like, say we're talking like the equator, which is like the median, in the latitude circles. That whole ring that you would make there, it's like, okay, I've just circled half the world, and now if I want to say now I own the northern hemisphere, that's all my property. So the equator is my property line. Right now, I want to add more property. I want to add an even amount of property around the outside of my property. So like an even ring all the way around. I want to buy the next latitude circle down. So you add all that extra area into your property that you already had, which was the northern hemisphere. You add a bunch more area to it, but now your property line is smaller than it was before. So you just added a bunch more property, but your property lines shrank. Because you live on a ball. But you don't feel like you live on a ball. So things like that would happen would be really fucking counterintuitive and would seem magic almost. But it looks like I've lost my audience here. I don't know why I bother. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. But looks like everybody left. Is there anybody in there? If not, I'm just going to end my show. Anybody watching? I guess not. Nobody's in there. All right. Maybe I'll end my show since nobody's watching. It says somebody's watching. Okay. Well, maybe I'll play a song then. It's like Bob Marley. Um, Speed it up. Sorry. Why does the government want to stick a needle in me so bad? better go out and get your jabs today, or you won't be allowed to play. That's what they say. Well, why does the government want to stick a needle in me so bad? Why does the government want to stick a needle in me so bad? It's making me mad now about it. Keep your job, keep your jab, keep your dumb propaganda. I don't need it and I will not concede. Why does the government want to stick a needle in me so bad? Oh, why does the government want to stick a needle in me so bad? It's making me mad and I'm getting pissed. Well, I wish I was out on Rocky Top out in the Tennessee hills. Well, I wish I was out on Rocky Top out in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoky smog on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bill. Once I hit a girl on Rocky Top, half bear, the other half hat. She was wild as pink, but sweet as soda pop. I still dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Oh, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Well, once two strangers climbed up Rocky Top looking for a moonshine still. Never came back down from Rocky Top. I reckon they never will. Well, corn don't grow at all on Rocky Top. There's too rocky by far. That's why all those folks up on Rocky Top get their corn from a jar. Rocky Top will always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. I can't sing that part. Rocky Top will always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Merry run around, sailing up and down, looking for a shove in some direction. Ha! Got it from the top, nothing you can stop. Lord, you know they made a fine connection. love each other. Lord, you can see that it's true. Lord, you can see it's true. Lord, you can see, you can see, you can see it's true. Lord, you can see, you can see, you can see it's true. They love each other, and you can see it's true. It's nothing they explain, like a diesel train. You better not be there when it rolls over. When that train pulls in, won't know where it's been. You got to try to see a little further. Oh, yeah, they love each other. Lord, you can see it's true. Lord, you can see it's true. Lord, you can see, you can see, you can see it's true. Lord, you can see, you can see, you can see it's true. They love each other, and you can see it's true. He could pass his time around some other rhyme, but you know he's chose this place beside her. Don't get in the way, nothing you can say. There's nothing that you need to add or do. They love each other. Sounds awful. You know, the more money you shovel at NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. It almost appears to be low budget. But $80 million a day, you think it'd be enough to pay for a better presentation of their International Space Station? And they do their spacewalks. I think they're in a swimming pool on Earth. When I see those bubbles in space, bubbles in space. And then I see the dupers' look of delight on their face while they're doing their science. The science of deception. Oh, for shame. They got a lot of hairspray. You gotta use a lot of hairspray if you wanna make your hair look that way. Like you're in a low G environment. $80 million a day. You think you'd have more to say for yourself, but all we get is this empty, empty. It's like every time they talk to the ISS, it just seems like such a pointless, like communication. They're like, why did you guys even bother? Oh, it's really great, you know. And they like throw the microphone back and forth, well, you know, all twirling it, all playing. It's just fantastic, you know. The view of Earth is great, and we got a lot of science we're doing, and lots of science. We do science almost all the time. We hardly ever get any spare time. We just science all the time. It's great, though. Which this International Space Station is fantastic. It's great, and I feel so lucky to be on the International Space Station, where I can hang out with my friends here on the International Space Station. You want to see how to use the toilet? I'll show you the toilet. Because in space, you got to go to the bathroom. Well, you know, everything's weightless, so there's certain things that we got to do to keep from having poo and pee fly everywhere. You want to see? I'll show you. Look, here's the hose. You put your thing in there, and then you turn it on, the fan. Don't worry, it's not going to suck your... it's not going to suck too hard. Then you go pee in there, number one. Okay, well, number two is in this bucket. See this bucket? Here's a little bucket. We put a bag in it. And then you poop in it, and then you close the bag up, and you push the bag down. So what if your poop is sort of loose? I mean, you might have an upset stomach on the ISS. Who knows? Eat some fucking... You never know. There might be rodents living up there after all this time. I bet you there's probably a few stowaway rats up there, you know, that just snuck on. You got rodents. You got like rat turds floating around. You're gonna eventually get somebody be sick. You know, there's like little puddles of rat pee floating by. It's a real problem when you have rodents on a space station. It's really not that good of a deal. But, you know, so if you have loose poo and you go in the bag, I mean, what's stopping it from floating out of the bag? Just your butt? I mean, it sounds kind of like messy, or just... They said there's a vacuum that sucks the pee, but how could the vacuum suck the poo if you're just pooing into a bag? I mean, I don't think that makes any sense. I mean, where's the vacuum part? How does that happen? That's that's real good engineering is what it is. So you just go poo in a bag, just like... Why don't you just have like a normal shitter then? I mean, what the fuck, dude? You know? Well, the water would fly out of the out of the toilet. Well, really? Well, how come the shit doesn't fly out of the bag? I don't know. I don't think your logic really makes sense, but okay. That's how you use the shitter in space. That was pretty, like... I mean, that wasn't very exciting. And it didn't really make any sense. Like, how are you going to vacuum suck the poo if you're going into a bag? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you just have to have really strong butt muscles and just push that in there. I don't know, it's weird. I don't think it's true. That's just the bottom line, because it would be impossible to go poo in space and have it be clean. So I don't think any of it is true, and it's all based on poo. You know, because if you're trying to do like communications with the Earth and like there's like shit turds floating by, and you know, I mean that would be a bad look, and it would be gross. And then somebody would throw up, and then that would be even more gross. Because a lot of times you get sick and you throw up, you don't feel it coming in time. You know, you don't make it to the bathroom or whatever. You just have to hurl. You know, and if you're in the space station, I mean, dude, chances are you might get sick because there's rat turds floating everywhere and floating shit and piss and stuff. And then you're gonna get sick and then throw up, and then all that fucking space food's gonna be all floating around everywhere. You're gonna have to try to gather all that up too. It's gonna make other people feel sick, and they're gonna start throwing up too. It's gonna be a fucking emergency, dude. You're gonna have to escape in the escape craft and go back to Earth. What? There's no escape craft? You made a space station and there's no escape craft for like emergencies? Well, that's pretty dumb. I mean, how many other fucking blunders are we gonna hear about here with this whole space station business? I mean, that's a blunder. Why wouldn't you design it with an escape pod? These guys got stuck up there for 9 months. That's kind of an inconvenience. I don't think it's true. I think it's all a big lie. And they should just write a better story if they're gonna lie, you know? Just be like, we don't go poo when we're in space. We have our diet engineered just right to where we don't ever poo. And we just work it out, and we work it out, and work it off. You don't poo in space. It turns out you don't poo. So we can only stay up here for like a week at a time, you know, and come home and shit. Because without gravity, our bodies can't poo. That'd be a better story than saying you have to poo in a bucket and then push the bag in or whatever. You don't. It doesn't make any sense, dude. I think that would be messy, and I just, that toilet looked like it had never been used, so I don't believe it. What are they always cleaning? I mean, how do you clean all that shit in space anyway? Like, but you can't use like spray shit or whatever. It would just get everywhere, and like you don't want to get that shit. I mean, they're kind of loose with how they have all their cables and all their, you know, their life support systems. I mean, it's like they're all this hair. They have all this hair flowing everywhere. All these girls with their long hair flying around everywhere. I mean, that's not good protocol for like military. I mean, they make you shave your head. You're not supposed to have like long flowing hair when you're doing science. It's not like something that would be desirable. And I would think if they were serious, they would have a hair code. You know, they got a hair code, and you can't have hair in space because it breaks off and it gets stuck in the fucking air ducts, and then you know where the air is recycling or whatever the, you know, because there's going to be a draw of air and a sucking, so that the hair would eventually get pulled into the air ducts, and then could clog your fucking life support, your vital systems. You don't want to have anything getting stuck in there. You don't need to have long hair when you're in space. So you would just not poo in space, and you would have no long hair allowed. And then, um, so those are two parts of the story you need to fix. What else was it? Yeah, I think the whole part about it just being like traveling 18,000 miles per hour, you know, that's the part that's really hard for me because they get out and they do spacewalks, and it's like there's no friction in space, and it just looks like they're going hardly, you know, but it's like, no, dude, whatever, man. I think they're lying. And like, I would think in most cases you wouldn't want to, like the spacewalks would be the least desirable situation. You know, like that'd be something that would only be done in the case of a fucking absolute emergency. You would never want to have that be something that was something that like a routine. You would never want to have that be something that was needed to be done because you're traveling that fast and you're orbiting the Earth. And just because there's so many things that can go wrong in that case, you know, like where you're just like out there on a lifeline, you know, it's like hoping your air machine works right and your, you know, fancy spacesuit technology. Because if you like puncture that thing, if it fails at all, you're fucked, you know. And so it better be something fucking important if you're out there doing a spacewalk. I mean, why in the fuck would you ever have that be something that you would do? Because it looks cool. It's all for show, dude. It's fake. You would never design your space station where that's like a fucking routine thing. You got to leave the space station, go out there in a spaceman suit, you know, and work on turn a wrench on the side of a spaceship. No, dude. No, that's not what you would do. You would have it designed in such a way to where like it was put together by robot arms, you know, so nobody was exposed to the harsh, you know, space elements or whatever, and so everybody was safe. Nobody had to put on a sketchy spacesuit and get inflated and fucking try to maneuver in space, just hanging by a thread. Like, dude, if something went wrong, dude, you're fucking lost in space in a spacesuit. No thanks, dude. Nobody would ever want to risk that. And just to do like fucking, go turn a couple of bolts on the side of the space station. Isn't there like a robot arm or some kind of drone you can get to do that or something? I mean, you guys are engineers. You have a pretty good budget. I would think you would like try to avoid those spacewalks because that seems like just a disaster waiting to happen. But no, nobody ever gets hurt or lost. Or Chris Hatfield almost drowned, but that was just a fun story. In the end, he survived it because he's just tough as nails. You know, the right stuff. The right stuff. Some of those guys are definitely not the right stuff, if you ask me. You know, some of these geeks on the fucking space station, they're just all smile plastered to their face. All you have to have these days to be an astronaut is a good smile, easily hypnotized, and, follows orders and signs a non-disclosure agreement. Because we do the kind of science where we sign non-disclosure agreements. We do the kind of science where people are sworn to secrecy that go there to do the science. That way we have no idea what's really going on. That's the kind of science we do with NASA. I love you, baby. Thanks for making me a Pop-Tart. The nuts aren't tested in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. Spacesuits are fucking ridiculous, dude. They could have never tested the Apollo tech in any situation that resembled what they were going to have to do. They can't. Nobody had ever flown the limb. Never, not once. And they were going to have to go, separate from the main ship, go down to the moon in this limb, in this machine that they've never operated, in 1/6 gravity or whatever, low, in a near vacuum, and land this thing, and in conditions that you've never been to, nobody's ever been to, and go basically test the spacesuit in this situation and hope for the best, because we can't even, allegedly the vacuum that's on the moon, the near vacuum, is to an extent that we can't recreate that same condition here on Earth to test the stuff that was going to be used there. So we just had to do the math or something. I don't know how what their story is with that, but that's part of their story, is that they can't even recreate the conditions that the moon is in order to test this stuff. I mean, so it was all being done for the first time, without any practice, untested, unpracticed, unrehearsed, out in, 250,000 miles from Earth. The Earth is a little blue dot in the background. They're out there just hoping their air machine works, and after flying for 3 days, away from Earth, and they're out there circling around the moon. Now they're going to get in this other little spaceship they've never flown before, and hope it goes down and lands on the moon. They drop down out of the fucking spaceship. They're going like 8,000, 9,000 miles per hour as they descend down to the moon. Hope the thing has good brakes or whatever, however that works, thrusters, or, and they can maneuver it. Hope, since they've never flown it before, hopefully it works out all right and they land on the moon safely. Oh, they did. Whoa. Didn't even stir up any dust, And hopefully our spacesuits work out all right, because we're going to decompress the limb the second we open it, and I hope our spacesuits are going to function all right. Oh, they're working, cool. They had to breathe pure oxygen for 6 days straight, but they at a really low pressure. And I don't know exactly what that, because I know that you can't breathe pure oxygen for 6 days straight. You wouldn't even make it 6 days, you would die. But if it's at a really low pressure, they say that's feasible, or that's what they did. And I don't know. I mean, so there's no other, because our air is a mixture of all kinds of, there's oxygen, there's other stuff in it, carbon dioxide, whatever. I don't know, all the mixture. But the thing is, they didn't have that mixture. They just had pure oxygen. and at a really low pressure. So they're barely having. It makes it sound like they didn't have that much air to breathe, but apparently it resembles what we're in right now. They didn't have any issues with it. They brought liquid oxygen that was airified or whatever, airified. You know what I mean? But yeah, the story is like it becomes so grandiose. Like, and once they've separated from their fourth stage in the Apollo missions, their last stage they separated from, and their rocket they're flying to the moon, their spaceship. They had to. It turns out they had to turn around and get the lunar module out of the. It was in the fourth stage. It was in, so they had to flip around and get the thing out of the out of the fourth stage that had separated from them. They had to turn around and get the limb and hook into it, and then go turn around again and go back to the moon. But I was under the impression that those stages are like thrusters, so they're thrusting them forward. So why in the fuck would you have to turn around and get something out of the stage that just separated? That stage separated because it was done thrusting you, but now you're going to turn around and lose all that momentum? Like, how in the fuck does that even make any sense? The story doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm just not smart enough to understand. I mean, there's got to be some way to explain that to where it makes sense, but like that doesn't make sense right there. But that's what they did. They had to turn around and get the limb out of the fourth stage, and then turn around again and go to the moon. I think they maybe just flipped around where their orientation was facing the other way. I don't think they did a U-turn necessarily, but that's what that one dude Duke Chuck or whatever his name is. That's what he said they had to do. We had to make a U-turn and get the limb out of the fourth stage. I'm like, you did what? So you lost all the momentum that you had from that fourth stage by turning around? That doesn't make any sense. And I think I'm hearing him correctly. But that's the thing. The people that were interviewing him didn't bother questioning him about that. I was like, for me, I was like, oh, dude, now the story's even more hard to believe. It was already terrible, but now it's just ridiculous. Or it was already ridiculous. Now it's just impossible. It was already impossible. Now it's just offending. You know what I mean? See our cactuses. This one's gotten really big. It was just a wee cactus when we got it, but now it's like boom, 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 boom. It's huge. It's got a big arm. It's a Don Pedro one. It's like a mescaline. I think that's what they make mescaline with. This is like a hallucinogenic. You have to get the buttons, I think, from it. There's Silver Torch. My little unicorn horn. I think it's seen better days. I think it's still kicking it, though. Same with the boobies. The boobies are not doing so hot. Still alive, though. Bow. Excuse me. A little piece of my art that I made right here. Some more of my art. I got my art laying around everywhere. Anybody want any art? All right, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching my show, guys.